Hello, today I'm going to talk about some of the sledgehammer work that I do. So we'll start off. First I have the 12-inch sledge bell is what I call it. It's just a dumbbell that I put some tape around this side. And then what I'll do, so it doesn't hurt my hands or my fingers, I'll just wrap a suede wrap that you can get at Hobby Lobby, any place like that carries it, just craft store, whatever. You just cut it to whatever you want. Just wrap it around, put some rubber bands around it. There you go, you got a handle that you can take off at any time. So the first movement that I did here was pronation, laying, and arm extended. So I like to wrap my thumb around, and reasoning for that is, the way I feel, in arm wrestling, your thumb is involved. If you wrap your thumb around when you're doing pronation, your thumb isn't involved. It's not pushing. And like I said, in arm wrestling, I feel like your thumb is involved in the pushing. So I like to wrap my thumb around. It was harder at first, but I've gotten used to it. And then the next one is just a wrist deviation, laying with the arm extended. Wrist deviation both ways, this way and this way. The range of motion is going to be quite smaller on this version, especially when the weight gets heavier. But you'll still feel it a lot in your arm. And then I got a bent arm wrist deviation, and with this way here going backwards, you can really pile on the weight. It becomes a lot of balance involved, but over time you'll build that up. And then supination, that's a hard one. And then just more wrist deviation. And then I'll move on to the double sledge handle. Here I got this one from armassassinstrengthshop.com. The movement that I did with it in this video is the standing lever down to my head. Don't bounce it off your head, don't hit your head. Always start with a light weight that you know that you can handle, and then over time, as you get stronger, you'll be able to gauge better what weights you can do. Just start slow, because this one, it involves a lot of mobility with your wrists. So if you don't have that mobility, just take your time. You'll develop it over time. Just don't try to pile on the weight right away. This is a very unique tool that I enjoy using, and I do not regret buying this, and I try to use it as much as I can. So I do recommend it. So I got some more movements that I did. I did some seated pronation, just with my arm on my leg, and that's more isolating the pronation. And that's with a bent arm. The extended arm and bent arm feel totally different, so I do recommend trying both of them, because you're going to be weaker in one or the other, and it's good to strengthen your weak points. So some more bent arm wrist deviation, and then I also did a floor lever with the 12-inch handle. I just wanted to try it to see how it felt, to see if it felt beneficial. It shortened the range of motion, so it would probably strengthen just a different range than the longer sledgehammer. I mean, that's a given with it being shorter, but I did feel it's beneficial, so I'll probably keep doing it and see where it takes my strength in my wrist. Some more wrist deviation. That is a movement that you use a lot during the day that you really don't think to do when you're lifting weights, but it is beneficial. At least in my wrist, I feel like those muscles are a little weaker, so I try to make sure that I'm doing them as much as I can. And then a new movement that I tried out that I thought was pretty beneficial is a wrist curl with the hammer. So you're going to hold it as tight as you can because it's going to press out of your hand, and you just go down and then you come up and do a wrist curl. Don't turn, don't do a pronation, just do a wrist curl. So it'll be a shorter range of motion, but you'll feel it pulling out of your hand. So you're not going to be able to use a lot of weight at first unless you're ungodly strong, but for me, I wasn't able to use a lot of weight, at least not yet. Hopefully over time that'll change. And then we just got levers with the Sledgehammer, and I do have other handles that I use for the levers. I have a barbell that's shorter. It's at the length of this, 36 inches, but the handle's thinner. So the Sledgehammer, at least this Sledgehammer, has a thicker handle. So it's just a totally different feel. So from time to time, I'll use this and I'll add weights to it, and I'll just use clips to hold those weights in place. And then just for variation, I'll use the barbell, and it's about 1 inch thick, whereas this is kind of oval shaped. So it just gives a different feel, and of course the weight distribution is different on a Sledgehammer than if you used like a barbell with the actual weights on the end. So it just gives a different feel. If you want to try some of this stuff out, and let me know how it works for you. If you have any questions or anything or critiques, just leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to you as quick as I can. Have a good day.